collections. You want to know how to buy entire estates and collections. Honestly, there's so many factors that go into buying entire estates or collections, or doing clean outs, or doing anything of that sort where you're taking somebody's lifelong belongings and you're trying to turn them into money. Basically, that's kind of what it comes down to. If you're new to the channel, I'm Eric. I'm a full-time reseller. What I do is I buy entire estates and collections, and I dig through them, and I'm looking for the vintage stuff that I can either stick into my store in Milwaukee, Wisconsin called BC Modern. Follow us. Or, things that I can stick online and make money on them. Primarily, that's how I get my stuff that I resell. It's super chilly in here. Something's going on with my heat. Something's going on with the heat. Anyways, I want to talk about that today. Literally one of the number one questions that people want to know is, how do I get into it? I also want to dig through some clothes. Show y'all. Mountain here. This mountain of clothes. I need to dig through it because I need to get some stuff for my next event. And by event, I mean our BC Modern event. So once a month, I open my store to people to come shop. It's usually the last full weekend of each month. We're open 2 days a month. I spend 30 days curating the space. So it's always fresh and new. It's always staged. It's always clean. It's always priced. Always a new vibe every time you come visit us. We need clothes for our upcoming event. And the upcoming event, what's special about that one is I'm actually expanding my clothing section. So I need a lot more clothing. I need probably like 25 to 30 pieces. So while I'm talking about the getting into the estate sale business, or not estate sale business, we're not going to talk about that. That's a whole different video. About how to get into the buying of estates and collections business, and understanding kind of what you're going to need to even remotely think about trying to do this, because it is high stakes gambling. I gotta be like real with you. This is real time. This is real money. These are real belongings. You're working with real people. There are a lot of factors that go into it. Before I can do anything, I want to show y'all, I'm going to show you some of the stuff that we actually already have pulled for the next event. Milwaukee Bucks. If you haven't seen my latest video, go check it out. I found this just recently, maybe about a week or so ago, inside of a home, digging in the basement. Found some G.I. Joes, found some Transformers, found some cool stuff in the house. So go check out the video. But this will be at our next BC Modern event. I didn't bring out a lot of t-shirts for this next event, but this one, liquid blue, got some wear around the edges, but still pretty good. My book, that'll be there. J-Bone. It's a throwback McGinnis jersey. Military jacket. Original. Reversible. Columbia. Old school. Definitely something going on with my heat, so I will be wearing this hat for the rest of this video. So I'm testing out new wireless microphone. How does this sound? Let me know in the comments how this sounds to you guys. Because I did try to do a little test. Yeah, I thought it sounded pretty clear. Just sorting everything. T-shirts, crew necks. This goes back over here. Buying estates and emptying out houses, even doing clean outs, can be extremely risky. So there's certain things you just gotta pay attention to. You gotta know these things going into it. And one of those things is you gotta have more than one way of getting rid of stuff. I see so many people that are like, oh, I would love to buy out estates and clean out houses, and they only sell on eBay, or they only sell on Etsy, or they only sell on Poshmark. You can't do this kind of business with only having one means of getting rid of stuff. First of all, you shouldn't put all your eggs in one basket anyways when you're talking about reselling. If buying entire estates and collections is something that you want to do, that's the first hurdle that you're going to have to clear, is figuring out a consistent way to get rid of stuff, a lot of stuff, whether that's an estate sale, garage sale, auctions, whatever it is, a combination of things, whatever it is that you do, you got to figure that out before you even remotely talk about, I want to buy entire estates. Next, you're going to need some capital. You're going to need some money. Everything that you do with emptying out a house costs money. You got to think about packing supplies. You can say, oh, I'll get recycled boxes. I'll get recycled paper. But at a certain point in time, you're going to have to buy some of that stuff new, just like you do when you're shipping for online orders. You're going to need paper. You're going to need bubble wrap. You're going to need boxes. And trust me, every house, there's more stuff than you always plan for. Always. So that alone just gave you a couple different things to think about. Packing supplies. So again, it costs money to make money in this kind of business. Even if you're talking about doing a clean out, you're still going to want to pack the things that you find value in. So you still need packing supplies. It's going to take capital to do this kind of thing. Now, that's not even talking about buying them. If you want to actually offer money to buy things, buy estates, that now becomes part of the added factor of, you can't empty these houses out yourself. You can't do it yourself. You, one person, two people, maybe three, but you're going to burn out. I had a full-time staff and we would do these jobs. At that point in time, I didn't understand a lot of factors that go into buying out these houses and these estates. Sometimes I bought things that were not the right estates. Those lessons are happening in real time with real money. It's kind of what makes like a video like this really important to me, at least, is to share my experiences with somebody that's thinking they want to try to do this. There's a lot of factors that go into it. Honestly, if this is something you really want to do, my biggest advice to you is learn other things. What helps me be successful at buying estates is the amount of stuff that I've dealt with over the years, whether it's from doing auction on consignment so that I was able to see a lot of different things without having to risk my own money by taking things in on consignment, which allowed me to learn. Or it was when we owned a pawn shop, being able to see depreciation on, new electronics and these kind of things. They help me to evaluate an estate really, really fast to understand if it's something that's going to work for me. I bought so many different estates over the years. Have to go into that kind of business with focus. For myself, my focus is definitely on more mid-century things at this point. Now, when I was an auction company, my focus was on volume. That allowed me to keep consistently running auctions every week. And so that's where that kind of model made sense, to have employees, to have warehouses with stuff full, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to need space for this. That leads me to another thing that you are ultimately going to need for this kind of business is you need space to house this stuff. You don't want to be taking it home. You just need space. If you're really trying to grow into the buyout and clean out business, that's another cost that goes along with this. You got to take the good with the bad when you empty out these houses too. I think we'll take this one to the shop for the next event. I just went through all of that and I got one piece. And it don't even fit into any of those criteria. It's cool. The Newport bag. I might make it right. I'm supposed to be looking for coats and crew necks. Oh, this is dope though. Take that. You're gonna need space, and that's what I got here. I got my BC Modern Depot. This is my space for me to buy out and When I do buy out collections or estates, I bring it all here and I can sort through it. You need to be able to sort through it at your leisure. That's what turned me off about doing estate sales is I can't operate on somebody else's schedule. I can't operate on somebody else's time. So Levi's. Another pair. Take both of those. So far, what do we got? You got to have multiple ways to get rid of stuff or capital to do this, whether it's just to, even if you're talking about doing cleanouts, you're still going to need capital to pay people. You need capital to pack for this stuff. You need capital for rentals, trailers, trucks, whatever it is. If you don't have those things, you're going to need capital for that. The other piece, learning, right? Like investing in learning, educate yourself so that you know what you're looking at when you're in houses, so that you know what it's going to cost you to recycle certain things, so that you know what chemicals you can and cannot throw away, so that you know and can guesstimate, about how long it's going to take to empty out a house, because you're paying people to do these things for you. These three factors alone, if you can really have a real and honest conversation with yourself, not just saying like, hey, I want to do something, but hey, I'm actually in the position to be able to do this. If you can't hit those three marks that I just gave you, there's so much more that you have to do before you should even remotely be thinking about buying entire estates or collections. This video could go on for 20, 30, an hour long before I could even remotely tell you everything and every factor that goes into it. Is it profitable? Absolutely is profitable. That's with anything in business that you figured out a process that works for you. What I just gave you was three very basic things that if you are working towards getting your business to the level of buying out estates and collections, because when you say you do that, you have to be prepared when these calls come in. The biggest estate that I ever bought was $22,000. Had 4 Harleys in it, some pinball machines, a trailer. So when these calls come in, you can't just be like, oh, well, I'm not buying today, or I don't have the money to buy that. If you want to play the game, you have to really play right. Can you start out small? Of course you can. There's no reason that you have to be the biggest and the best in the world. It's got to be the best for you and your family. I'm not trying to conquer the world of cleanouts and estate buyouts. I'm trying to make sure that I can provide for my family the best way possible. And by being the best version of myself doing this, that's all that matters. Can you start small? You can definitely start small. It's all on whatever your comfort level is and whatever you can handle and sustain and what makes you feel the fire to continue to do it. There's been so many estates that I bought that I just knew I shouldn't have. And I can tell you, there is nothing worse than having to empty out a house full of stuff that you absolutely have regret or even speaking on. You got more questions, you got feedback, you got anything to add to what I said in the video, drop it in the comments, hit the like, hit the subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Follow me on Instagram. I run my business through Instagram. It's called BC Modern. I'll drop it right here on the screen. I'm on the IG too, Eric the Vintage Hunter over there too, and TikTok. So that's how I go. I didn't finish picking out my clothes. Which it didn't really matter too much because I was going to check the heat to see what the temperature was, and it's still very, very cold in here. My ears is cold. My fingers is cold. I'm just cold. So I'm going to end the video right here on this. I said what I needed to say to help y'all. I'm out of here. It's cold. See you on the next one.